Hey, third grade, get ready for your next art lesson with your friendly neighborhood art teacher. Your expedition this semester was Exploring Neverland. Your guiding questions: how do writers capture a reader's imagination? How can I create a solution to a problem that library characters might encounter? And how can lessons learned from fictional texts transform society? Your learning targets today: I can identify background, middle ground, and foreground in pictures. I can finish my setting for Peter Pan with details and completely colored in artwork. Before we begin, you should have your artwork from last time. And if you do not, then you'll need a pencil and paper, inline paper or color or printing paper is fine, and something to color with. Well, some things to color with. Crayons, markers, color pencils, whatever you want to use. Remember, you're going to be drawing big. You're going to fill up the paper. So last time we were brainstorming what we wanted to work on for our settings, and I asked you to at least get a sketch down. These are some do's and don'ts. I would like for you to take a close look at those. The ones up here at the top that say 1 and then 2. These are the ones that not so good. These are the ones that are a lot better. Why is this one kind of boring? Well, because it's just in the middle of the page. Yes, it's important to have whatever it is that you're looking at right in the middle, but it's a little boring compared to this one, which is just a little bit off to the side. You could still put some other things over here, and it would save some space for some more objects to draw. Now, this is interesting because it does show you that it's getting smaller, but it's kind of boring to see the trees like that. Very rarely do you come across trees in nature that are done straight in a row, let alone going backwards like that. These, on the other hand, show a variety. They're still going and getting smaller as they go back, but they're all not in a row. It makes it look a lot more interesting, a lot more realistic. Now this one's a little bit harder to see the difference of. This one says, don't kiss the edge. Half of the tree is on the edge. That's, well, let's be honest, that's not very, that's kind of what maybe our little kids will do. This one has the tree still going off the edge, but you see more of it. It looks more dynamic. It looks a lot more interesting when you're looking at the picture. So here's a recap just to show some of the examples that we had last time. So here's an example of the Darling's nursery with the window in the background, the beds in the middle ground, and the actors would be in the foreground. The Jolly Roger. You've got the ocean in the background, the deck and the railing in the middle ground, and that mast, the part where the ship is, or the part where the sail is very much in the foreground because it's in front of a lot of things. You've got the Lost Boys' home with the cave. You've got those trees up in the background. You've got roots and the parts of the cave in the middle ground, and a little bit more like this railing right here or some of these other spots in the foreground. You've got Wendy's house. You've got the forest in the back. We've got Wendy's house and the people in the middle, and then the other people could be walking up here in the foreground. And then once again, the really big picture of Neverland that I showed you, where Peter is in the foreground, the ship and the skull cave are kind of in the middle ground, and the big mountain is in the background. So here's my example that I finished coloring. And here's the one that I drew with you last lesson. So let's look. You should have a blank, filling up your page kind of artwork. This was the other example that I did that was Tiger Lily's Village. I want you to have things behind some of your stuff. Even if I just drew the houses, I would still have the sky behind it. But you know what is where in Neverland. If you know that the Jolly Roger is next to the ocean, draw the ocean behind and underneath it and the sky up above it. Or if you want to draw the Jolly Roger next to the on the ocean next to the island, draw the island back behind it. But you want to have something behind everything. So then, let's talk. The next thing I want you to do is work on your coloring. I want you to make sure that you are giving us some good quality coloring. I don't want to get this apprentice level coloring from my third graders, especially not since you've got time to sit down and work on something. I don't mind if you use color pencils, and if you have markers, go for it. If you want to use crayons, go for it. See, take your time and color in. Make sure you're not leaving open spots. Go down, go to the edges of what you drew. You drew it. It's your artwork. It's like you drew the coloring book. You made the lines. Now you color all the way to the lines. I'm going to finish the top. Now, I'm going to make this look a little bit more interesting. I'm going to say that there's some decorations up at the top. I mean, there are decorations up at the top, clearly. I'm going to go ahead and color those in. I'm going to find something to color in because this goes inside. It's going to be a lot darker. I'm going to come all the way down. So, there's one. Now, I don't think, well, in my Neverland, not all of these are going to be the same color. I think it would actually be a lot more interesting if each one of the houses looked a little bit different. So I'm going to color this one a light brown compared to that one. I'm going to say that it's got different decorations up at the top since it's someone else's house. Let's finish up at the top. Let's make this one have different colors. So, already, I can tell that they're two separate people's houses. And I'm going to make the inside. It's okay if that's still kind of the same color since that's the inside. I'm also going to take this nice dark brown. I'm going to come up here to the top. Work on the tops of those. So, now that I've started this, I need to finish some of the background, so I'm going to pick out, here we go. This is going to be a mountain behind them, so I'm going to say that it would be, yes, this is a very nice dark green. So the trees all the way in the distance make this mountain dark green. I'm not going to color the whole thing because I don't want to spend the next 20 minutes just sitting here having you watch me color. But I'll finish this part. And I'm going to do the sky up above them because since I have the fire going, well, let's see, let's get that fire. Add some different more like there's a fire. Get some orange over there where that red and yellow meet. Color in the wood. Remember, if you accidentally color over something or you need to make it darker, press down a little bit harder with your pencil and it'll show up again. Of course, this only works if you haven't been pressing down really hard. I mean, if you're coloring everything that dark, then it's not going to work out too well. So the next thing I'm going to work on is, I've decided I'm going to make this nighttime, or getting close to nighttime. So the nighttime sky isn't pitch black outside. Usually when you're outside, especially if you're someplace where there's not a lot of light, or maybe you're out camping, you'll see that there's a little bit of blue or even some purple with the sky. So I'm going to combine that blue and then draw some, or use the black over it to make it look much more like a natural dark blue sky at night. So here's one completely colored in at mentor level art. Here's here's the beginning of a mentor level coloring. Your task today is going to be to finish working on your background. Aim for mentor level coloring. There will be a link to the turn-in page at the bottom of this video. It should also be on the information that your teachers send to you. Alright, third grade. I'll see you next time.